Our next question is directed to Congressman Reyes.
In the past, presidents have been able to get around Congress by declaring a conflict instead of an approved war. Do you believe this practice should be allowed?
I absolutely do not believe that it should be allowed. I will tell you proudly that I voted against giving the authority to President Bush to go into Iraq. And I did so because having had that terrible experience of being in combat, combat should be a last option. I know for a long time they called it the Vietnam conflict. Let me tell you, it was a war. People were trying to kill you and you were killing other people. And many things stick in my mind about that, and were on my mind when President Bush asked Congress for authority to go into Iraq. Iraq that did not have a thing to do with the attacks of 9/11. So as a veteran, one that has seen the horrors of war and combat, as someone that proudly represents a district where Fort Bliss, White Sands, and Holloman are located, a whole region, I will tell you, I'm not afraid to stand up and do the right thing. I think that Congress has a role to play in declaring war, and do not support a shortcut as has been done in the past by presidents. So part of this process has to be adhered to and as written in the Constitution.
I do think it's necessary that if this country is going to commit its military resources, that decision come through the U.S. Congress. And while I agree that Iraq, the war that we launched in Iraq was an unnecessary war, and I would not have voted for it, I also think it's important that other, perhaps well-intentioned military exercises like our recent involvement in Libya also have to go through that same process. It's not only when we commit our soldiers and put their lives on the line, it's when we commit our military resources knowing that it will result in the death of other humans in other parts of the world. And we can't divorce ourselves from that no matter the technology we use, whether it's drone strikes or missiles or bombs that are dropped from airplanes. Those are some very sobering consequences, and I think that needs to go through a deliberative process as mandated by our U.S. Constitution, and that process takes it through the U.S. Congress.
No president of the United States should ever substitute the word conflict for war that should be approved by Congress. What has happened in the last 10 years has added to the $7 trillion deficit that we have, because why? The vast military complex makes money, and the president knows that, and he allows it, and we should never allow that to happen again, especially if you believe what's written in this little book called the Constitution of the United States. That's it.
Short answer to the question is no. Congress should be living up to the provisions in Article 1. What happens is we have too many people in Congress with too little military experience. They treat soldiers like email. They're quick to push the send button. Quick to push the send button because they don't have to feel the effects of the policies that they pass. My concern is very simple. Even if Congress calls a conflict or a war, people bleed, soldiers die. Congress could stop it if the Congress would take the checkbook away from the president. What happens is Congress will authorize the spending. The they cut off the spending flow, then the president would take a long, hard pause before he decided to commit troops. You better first commit the nation, then commit the soldiers.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.